to like kind of sync up a little bit, so. Alright. Well, hi. Not sure what I'd look at. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah. Anyway, hi. My name is Andrew, but I'm going by Mr.Beara now. And I wanted to show off this game. It's a really nice game, and you know, in the times of what was going on in America, no need to explain that. I think it's important to at least remind ourselves what was, and it's hard to do that because, you know, we're not there, but video games and TV shows and movies seem to be a nice slice of that, so just want to throw it out there that I do not affiliate with anybody. I'm not being paid or sponsored as much as I would love to. And this is purely just me playing a game. That's it. So I'm going to get this started. And I played a little bit before, but I'm going to bring everybody on to this game. So fresh start for everybody. And if you like it, you know, feel free to send any messages or, you know, if you say hello at least. So let's get it going.
August 1st, 1914. After the assassination of Prince Franz Ferdinand of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the German Empire declares war on Russia. Because of established alliances, France is preparing for conflict. A few hours after the announcement of the general mobilization, German civilians living in France are asked to leave the country. Karl is one of them.
So I'm gonna try to like not speak as much, just so you guys can like experience this, but I'll keep it limited. Yeah, being selected for war is a little different compared to like what we deal with now, so there's that. And I believe the first person we play is French, if I'm not mistaken.
A few days after Karl was deported, the war was hungry for more and took away Emil as well. A heavy-hearted Emil was called up to fight and left the farm for Saint-Mihiel. Like so many others, he had no idea what fate had in store for him.
Also, quick things, this game is called Valiant Hearts, and when I was first shown this game at, I can't remember what year it was, I think it was 2014, E3, it was, it grabbed me right away because I love art and I love history when it's depicted in a digestible way, you know, through video games and stuff, so I immediately saw this game and I was like, I would love to play this, but it took me like 2 years to get this game, so now I'm finally getting to that. It's Liberate, Egalate, Fraternate. If it's liberate, I don't know what those are. I'm slowly learning French as well as 11 other languages right now, so I was trying to associate what I know with what I'm seeing. But I mean, obviously liberate is kind of obvious for liberate, but I gotta learn the other ones. I want to say the other one's English, but I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, hey, if anybody's a French speaker, feel free to, you know, drop it in the chat and kind of mention what it is. So I'm guessing I was going through, you know, getting my outfit and stuff, and I forgot something. So. I think right now I'm heading into a charge. Oh no, it's just basic training. That's what I'm going through. Oh, that's a little bug. That's fine. Flying grenade. But I'll take one of those. I believe you can only carry one throwable at a time, so... that. And I gotta throw from over here. Generally when I play video games I move really fast because you know, I've been playing pretty much all my life, so it's very quick for me to learn things, so but I'll try to keep things interesting at least. Oh. Ooh, okay, so it's a little bit of history. This is the reason why I found this game to be really, really interesting, is because more than just, you know, what the story is, which is, I believe, a loose interpretation of documents that they found. They actually partnered up with, I forgot what it is, some historical channel, and they took pictures, well, they grabbed pictures and, you know, got a lot of information down, and which is just impressive for a video game, because a lot of people like to go off thinking that, you know, video games are not influential or educational in any right, but they actually are more educational than the current books today. At least I can only speak for America, so, you know, only going from that. But I'm gonna quickly go through this. Not entirely sure if you want me to read it, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. It's my first time on here anyway, so just let me know. So, war is declared June 28th, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austrian-Hungarian throne, was assassinated in Sarajevo, I want to say it's Sarajevo, as a result of the chain of diplomatic and military alliances in place. The event launched Europe into an armed conflict that, with the involvement of the colonies, took on a global dimension. August 1st, Germany declared war on Russia. August 3rd, Germany declared war on France. August 4th, Britain declared war on Germany. August 11th and 12th, France and Britain declared war on Austria-Hungary. So, I mean, pretty blatant of what I just read, but, you know, during that time, I think things were pretty much a powder keg, which is, you know, a term that people use a lot. But then, you know, once Franz Ferdinand got assassinated, a lot of the tension was just like there. So Germany declaring war on both Russia and France was huge at the time, you know, and you know, Britain being pretty much right next door to them, including the other ones, just, you know, it was a big power at the time, especially around 1914. Britain was definitely still for a superpower. Not entirely sure about right now, but, you know, definitely during that time, Britain was on top of the world. And for them to declare war on Germany was pretty huge. I'm not sure about Germany's exact power at the time, but they were forced to be at least reckoned. So this was a huge moment. So I'm going to go on to the next one. The barracks and the regiment. Battalions comprised of a battalion headquarters and 4 companies, a total of 1,007 men in all. Companies were composed of 4 platoons, in turn divided into
It looks
4
like that device
sections.
hasn't been set up yet.
And 4 sections, each of 12 men commanded by the NCO, Northern Colonial Operations, something like that. I'm guessing there. Britain was slow to mobilize. That's a different way to spell mobilize. I think it is correct, but it might be a difference between American and German or France, whoever depiction. But I'm pretty sure it's not a typo, but moving on. Britain was slow to mobilize on the Western Front. Half its army was overseas, and with a genuine fear of invasion, infantry divisions were held in reserve in Britain and not included in the British Expeditionary Force. While conscription only came into force in 1916, voluntary enlistment was initially overwhelmed with 750,000 men eager to show their patriotism. So this is a huge time. Everyone immediately joined forces, at least in regards to Britain, because the whole nation, I guess, is not entirely that big, but to show a force of 750,000 men is pretty huge, honestly. So yeah, this is pretty good showing up, at least on their front. So railways. With the outbreak of war, each country was eager to dispatch its army in situ as quickly. Is that a typo? I don't think it's... Okay, I think that might be a typo, but whatever, moving on. As quickly as possible to gain the advantage. Railways were essential for mobilization. Again, might be a difference in cultural understanding of English, but whatever. Railways were essential for mobilization and supply. By August 1914, the British realized the importance of rail in the war effort and dispatched Royal Engineers to the front to build new lines. By 1917, 40,000 enlisted railway soldiers were working for the RE in France and Flanders. Interesting. So more than just soldiers running up, but mobilization, having access to trains and supplies, definitely supplies, was huge, because Germany, immediately attacking France and Russia, probably a lot of people were, looking for relief, and more than just showing a force, it was just hey, we have all the supplies, we need to get it over there. So yeah. The debacle of August 1914. In the early fighting, the German army made swift progress. After invading Belgium, they marched on Paris in late August. French troops retreated en masse, and units were outflanked and repelled, taken prisoner, or killed. The months of August to September 1914 marked the bloodiest period of the war, with over 180,000 French casualties alone. The French authorities described the debacle as an organized retreat. The war to win over public opinion had begun. I think that's when collectively everyone was realizing that this is bigger than just a fight or a small-scale war, but this is something which we come to learn as a world war, because these casualty numbers are unheard of. So there's that. Playing these games is you don't think about it, you know, the amount of lives that is, but I mean 180,000 French casualties, that's people. It's a lot of people, and there's not that many people in France. So that number is devastating. And I mean, to see France today, you know, despite the recent attacks, you know, still holding up, still strong, it still has its history and its language and everything. It's something to be thankful for. As many times people got destroyed and everything is lost, but we're very lucky to have pieces of history still. So that's good. I'm gonna get back to the game now, but I just wanted to read those out and understand it a little bit more. Republic Française, 150th Division.
My dear Marie, we are on our way to Paris. The atmosphere here is strangely cheerful. I hope that the harvest goes well. Rely on our neighbors for help. They've always been gracious and charitable people.
Chambéry.
I'll write again as soon as I get my assignment. Please kiss my little grandson for me.
Well, with what I read, with the context, especially with the number of casualties.
Trying to reach his regiment at platform 21, Emile would meet the man he would soon fight alongside. The man who would come to be his truest friend.
I think this part is interesting to know because I was about to talk about the importance of video games. It's more than just telling a story, but also what's currently going on. During the time, racism was still a thing. And right now what you're seeing is soldiers, you know, in the midst of war, bullying someone of a darker skin. So clearly my character Emile wants to step in and save this man, but yeah, it's something to note that racism is still very much a thing. So right now what I have to do is find a way to get these two steam pipes to deter away these soldiers that are clearly bullying this man. So I did play this part before, so I know that I have to convince this soldier to drink this wine bottle, but can't remember what else to do, but I'll figure it out. That's right, he wants the white wine, not the red wine. So I gotta switch them. Just handed him the wrong one. Alright. Okay, so alright, so this is a sequence, I just have to figure it out. This is actually a very famous French song, if I'm pretty sure. It's just you know, just a lighter hearted, smaller, condensed sample of it. but this is actually a song. I wish I knew it, but I don't. If someone would love to, you know, tell me what it is, if they happen to recognize it as well, please tell me. Alright.
Thank you. I'm free. Welcome. Listen. Hey, good luck, my friend.
August 21st, 1914. Emil's regiment was sent to fight against the 71st German Division, led by Baron von Dorf. The general cheer of the first hours dissipated into the fear of first combat.
So I'm guessing right now I'm leading the charge. Now, there is an importance to my character right now, because, especially during this, I want to say, I don't know the infantry, you know, terms, but the one leading the charge has now perished, and so has everyone else. So, yeah.
Miss Marie Cheyenne, Private Emile Cheyenne, from the 150th Infantry Regiment, was wounded by enemy fire on August 21st. He has been captured by the enemy. Hopefully, you shall receive news from him soon. Freddy, originally from America, enlisted voluntarily in the French forces at the start of the war. Behind his bravery hid a man already devastated by the war's effects. A man with one sole obsession: punish those who had destroyed his life. It was at the Battle of the Marne that Freddy finally picked up the trail of the regiment commanded by Baron von Dorf.
Now, it is not unheard of for people in the war effort to go in with personal vendetta. It was actually more common. And, like I said, this is a loose interpretation of real events, so, this character, I believe his backstory deals about more than just the racism that he had to face during the war, but also, you know, the travesties that happened during it, so. And we got more diary intros, so. Now, this character list, there is 5 playable characters, and I believe this, like we said, his name is Freddy, this one, and this is a meal. So we spent another day walking. We heard cannon fire for the first time today. I don't want to have to kill. I must stop thinking about it and get some sleep. And for him, it's at least I can't wait to get fighting. Maybe it'll ease some of the pain I feel inside. Yeah. Well, like I said, this is very different times. This is well, pretty much past 100 years now. Yeah, 105 years since the first war, World War I, and a lot changed. Big differences. So there's actually more historical facts. I'm actually going to end on this one because I've been playing for a bit, and I don't want to like keep this super long-winded. I want to make this pieces. So I'll read these 4 passages, and then we'll call it a night. So let's read along. Americans in the French Army. So 128 Americans enrolled in the French Army from the start of the conflict, mostly in Paris, including the poet Alain Ségur. The majority joined the Foreign Legion and took part in the Battle of Marne. Others joined the Air Force, which later became the Lafayette Squadron. 24 gave their lives for France, including Alain Ségur. The media attention they received in the United States played a decisive role in their own country's decision to join the war 3 years later. A lot of things that we keep forgetting, especially this. We wanted to stay out of the war. I don't think it was too long after liberation of a few things on American soil, but you know, during this time things were okay. But seeing how the war was on the complete other side, we didn't have any reason to fight. But these Americans selflessly jumped ahead and tried to help. I think it's incredibly important to remember true American culture and true American spirit. This being those that had no reason to fight, 0 reason to fight, but still did anyway because it was right. That was the America that we used to pride ourselves on. So, yeah. The Battle of Marne. Drawn up long before the war, the Von Schlieffen plan aimed at swiftly overrunning France via Belgium and North France. After the August debacle on September 6, French troops turned to face German troops in the decisive Battle of Marne and prevented the capture of Paris. The battle was the first time Franco-British forces managed to halt the German advances and thwart the main German battle plan. The front retreated northward to stabilize in December, when trench warfare began in earnest. So, as bleak as it seems, victories were had, but it's important that anything happens, and the Battle of Marne seems to be a not a turning point, but at least a slice of hope, so that's a good thing. Machine guns. The Great War demonstrated the technical progress of the age symbolized by the machine gun. World War I devices could now shoot up to 200 bullets before requiring cooling, and were perfectly integrated into infantry attacks. German machine guns deployment in the front line gave them a vast superiority at the start of the conflict. So this is actually the most important fact about World War One. This was a mark of engineering at its prime, because at the time there was a lot of the rifle, you know, capabilities were powder and powder bag and, like, you know, muskets and that kind of stuff. And, you know, it slowly evolved, but by the time World War One hit, especially with between Germany and the Axis forces and the Allied forces, I believe that's what they're still called, machine guns were introduced, and machine guns were devastating. You know, casualties back then were very small compared to casualties during that time, because, you know, you would fight a war, and yes, the numbers were high, but, you know, most of that was due to infection or due to, you know, lack of basic medical training, pretty much. But when machine guns came along, they would mow down people, and this was definite kills. This wasn't something that prolonged. And the reason why Germany was so strong-willed and forced is because they had access to this technology. It was hard to fight back. It was terrifying. And, you know, hearing rapid fire was something new at the time. Capture the flag. Flags are powerful symbols for each unit, and once captured became trophies. When overran, soldiers would take the time to hide or bury them before taking prisoner. Before being taken prisoner. With the arrival of trench warfare, flags disappeared from the battlefield and were only made an appearance at military ceremonies away from the front. So, assuming I kind of remember what I learned in school, which is very limited at this point, what determined the battle pretty much was your show of force, and your show of force was pretty much titled or shown with grabbing your enemy's flag at their base, or their base of operation at the time. So, you know, having two fronts, that kind of stuff, and then your battle would commence, and if someone managed to grab your flag, you pretty much asserted your dominance. It's basically your nation saying, I claim this, and I claim you. And typically, you know, once they capture your flag, that's it. It's pretty much it, you know. And I don't really want to say it's like a gentleman thing, but, like, you know, once you lose, you lose. That's how it worked. And prisoners were common because, you know, they want to be able to access information from you, see how they can win the next battles, that kind of stuff. So pointless killing was, you know, not necessarily something that they sought out during battles, pretty much, because information was key regardless. And especially interpreters and translators at the time were at an all-time high, because you need to know the next moves. But, you know, being from France, living in France, that kind of stuff, you're not going to know German. No one would, and only a select few people would. So you know, being able to capture someone means you can extract information from them. But it wasn't always, you know, truthful. It wasn't always one-to-one. So bargains were made, barters were made, you know, trading off prisoners, so that way you can, you know, grab information, see who can win the next battles. Everything was more intelligent-based. But despite all that, Germans also had access to machine guns. It was intense. And, you know, them having access to such power like that really put in perspective of what was needed. And you know, you can see in this picture that everyone is equipped with rifles. These are you know, single load rifles, so they don't have magazines. They don't have, you know, rapid fire capabilities. They're one shot, and the German soldier would have a machine gun that can basically replace 20 men. And you know, that was kind of something big that they said all the time back then. You know, have this gun, you know, be a one-man army. And pretty much the term one-man army came to fruition after they saw the extreme force that Germans had at the time. Machine guns were changing just our perception of life at that point, because that capability was devastating. So, you know, the old war, you know, ways were very much being eroded by that point. And I'm pretty sure that's what this is getting at, because you know, everyone had to sit there and be like, this is different. Okay, so I want to get off, I want to sign off, but I wanted to play this game. I really did want to play this game, but last time I was playing it, I was kind of just speeding through it. I never actually took the time to read this stuff, and now I am. And the reason why is because I want to know more. I want to seek knowledge, and more importantly, I want to appreciate the life that we have now. We have technology all around us. We can talk to people on a fly. If, you know, I grew up with this stuff, but I didn't always have it. You know, the access to the internet was just starting, so I didn't have a cell phone that can like have YouTube on it. That wasn't a thing. But then it became a thing, and I'm seeing how everything is changing. I guess in a way, you can kind of look at it as technology is pretty much the new machine gun, and tensions are at its highest because of that. But I remember a decent time. I remember a time where love seemed to be more important. And you can only appreciate the future once you realize what the present is. And you can only realize what the present is when you take a look at the past and realize where you came from. I don't have any true connections to the World War I or World War II, at least as far as I'm aware of. But this video game, this, you know, wonderful art piece, as something I would like to call it, at least gave me a better understanding of it. And, you know, I'm no historian. A lot of the stuff I'm assuming is, you know, given to me in a quick lens of things. I haven't spent 6 or 7 years, you know, getting a degree to tell you how it is. But, you know, I don't need to have 7, 8 years understanding what this war meant. Not just to America, not just to France or Germany, but as a person. And, you know, you have to kind of take into account, I'm not in the middle of a war. I'm not wondering when someone's going to knock on my door and say you have to join the war effort. now. There's things, so many things that we don't know of, but there is a lot that we have come from, and this time that we're in right now is, it's awful, and we all want to search for answers, but I don't think that's the point. I think we need to look at this not as a cautionary tale, but more of a way to remember who we are. At the end of the day, we're all people. We won the war for people, not for nations. And we became better. So I would say take that into thought. Consider what you have. Be someone. And remember, there's much more. I'll continue this playthrough soon. I don't have a schedule. Barely planned this. This is spur of the moment, but I will get back to you.